Hello everybody and welcome back. Good to talk to all of you again today. And well, this video is about a couple days late, but couldn't really help it. Spent 3 days driving from Halifax all the way to Toronto. Had to go fix a bureaucratic mess, and then of course once that was resolved temporarily, I had to run a bunch of other errands, and this is the first day in a while I've got to sit in front of a computer and then make this video. And well, let's start with the good news. Let's start with the good news. Let's start with something positive. Yes, let's do that. So Wargaming has finally come out and has basically said that they're going to give doubloon refunds for people who purchased premium boosters and are unable to complete the grind. So yay, at least they're going out of their way to now kind of fix that part. So fantastic. There is, of course, one thing to keep in mind. You have to submit a support ticket first, so do make sure to do that if you're not able to complete the grind. And then second, when you do get your doubloon amount back, it might be less than what you expected, because depending on how many of the boosters you bought, you got a couple of premium crates, the sort of loot box crates, the Santa crates, whatever you want to call those. And of course, they're going to charge you for those on the refund, so you're going to get back less gold than I guess you would expect if you had opened those boxes. If you didn't open those boxes, then you will get back the full refund. At least that's what we've been told so far. And of course, this is available for all servers. So hooray, at least we got something good out of them. Unfortunately, 3 days of driving on a highway can seriously make you contemplate a lot of things. And the first thing really is, like, why was this event so damn scummy? And it wasn't just, the grind and the directives was hard, or the doubloon cost for things was like way higher than expected. I guess the first thing, there's a couple of things that came to mind. The first thing that really, really was irksome, even for me, was the fact that there was no clear way to plan anything. There was no clear way for you to calculate how much you needed to do, because even the guideline that they eventually published by Sub Octavian on Reddit, in terms of if you didn't buy any boosters, this is how much you had to do things by. Here's what happens if you buy one. Here's if you happen to buy two. Here's if you happen to buy three, for example. All of it sort of assumes that you do things exactly at the times that they're sort of laying out. And a big part of the problem is, but the point increases per minute, so there's always some sort of moving point marker, total, whatever you want to call it. So what if you were 10 minutes past one deadline? Or what happens if you bought a premium booster half a day late? Or how does that affect your thing? Well, there's no way to tell. There's no way in-game to tell. There's no calculator that Wargaming provides you for you to easily calculate it. In fact, you've basically got to go ahead and do something like this. You've basically got to make your own spreadsheet and track things down as close as humanly possible. This is one of many that I received over the last couple of days, where people have been making them and sending them to me and going, here's my calculator, and here's my calculator, and here's my calculator. All of them being a little different, but it just goes to show you how ridiculously insane the way that this whole thing was designed was. It's just, there's no way for you to go, right, here's a way to easily calculate it, which is a horrible way to execute something like this. Nobody could plan, really. And, in order to plan, you had to make your own massive spreadsheet, which outside of the hardcore Excel lovers, or those people who really like to play EVE Online, that's just not a normal thing to do, really. So I guess that was the first thing. And then the second thing was, now that was me sort of thinking about the videos that were published before it, was one other thing. When the original PTS videos were being released by Jingles and other CCs, I think Flamu also did one on his stream. I think so. Can't remember, but I think he did. There was the sort of notion that if you had just used all the premium boosters at the very early start of the thing, and you just sort of let it run, it would eventually accumulate enough points from building for you to basically have a completed ship. Now, we understand, especially people who have seen sort of PTS servers and how Wargaming does those, is that, okay, PTS values are sort of set, as a placeholder. And that when they make it to the live servers, it'll change. So with the Puerto Rico, I even assumed that, yeah, if you bought the 3 doubloon boosters at the very beginning, it would help you complete the ship. Of course, the cost for those boosters would probably increase quite dramatically from the 1,000 placeholder value they had on the public test to a much higher value, something in line with, a sort of a scalable linear increase from the tier 8 and 9 premiums to what this ship is. So I thought, $100 would sound pretty reasonable, maybe 120. Okay, let's just say 150 tops. No. We eventually got a ship that would require you to pay $230 US and like $300 Canadian, which is just, I don't understand how a tier 9 can be sold for $78, but then the tier 10 is $230. Just how? But then again, on top of that, not only was it that you bought the boosters for $100, they didn't even get you remotely close to finishing the ship. You have to actually grind actively. Quite hard, in fact. And for me, it's, actually impossible. Can't do it. By the time I make it back home, it will not happen. So just a couple of really scummy design choices in the beginning. And then, of course, as I was driving through, and I think this was on like the second day of my drive or something like that, I see a post made by Malik, who is like the general manager, the CEO of Leicester Studios. This is not the overall wargaming company, but he's the guy that's basically the head of the studio that's developing World of Warships. And he comes out and he basically says something like, okay, so we basically designed this event as a reward for people who basically have either A, no lives, or B, are disabled and cannot work. For everybody else, pay up, give us your money. That's sort of the, I guess, paraphrase version of his statement. If you want to see it, of course, there are plenty of actual posts. In fact, I might even just go find it. I'm not sure if I can actually Google search this. It was on like Reddit a few days ago. So let me see if I have Malik, World of Warships. Let's see if there was a post, I believe. Whoops, wrong search engine. My bad, I should have used Google there. There you go. So the original guy, there we go, the post was, here we go, page 1. Here we go. Yeah, he basically said things along the following, and of course, it was sourced and cited or whatever, so you could be able to check it, but he basically said something like this, and he said that, there are people who play a lot by themselves or because of other reasons, like working schedule or health issues. We encourage them by adding more purpose for these people. Like, we got to give them a purpose to their lives, right? Rewarding them with a tier 10 being built. Consider it our obligation to them. Like, oh my God. How they allow someone like this to go on the forum and publicly make a statement is horrifying. If someone is offended and don't want to play that much, there are two ways: buy for doubloons or don't pay attention to the dry dock. And he says, I simply bought the Puerto Rico with my salary card, so, give us your money, right? Degree of whining won't affect this marathon, that's for sure. Oh my God. Oh, man. Yeah, I just cannot believe that they let him go out and say something like that. I mean, that is so much contempt for your player base. Just unbelievable. But anyways, so saw that, it kind of just blew my mind. I mean, this has got to be, and I have to say, this has got to be the first time in the history of World of Warships where they have designed something that they poured enormous amounts of resources into for literally 0.0000001% of their actual audience. I mean, literally the rest of it is like whale or else, which is just, holy moly. I mean, and all the other things they've ever done, think CV rework, think all the things, it was always designed for as many people as possible, but suddenly This cool feature, nah. Anyhow, so that was a hugely what the actual F moment for me. So yeah, I mean, I've also been tracking a couple of people. There's a couple of really hardcore people, a couple of streamers, a couple of other people I know who are trying to complete the Puerto Rico entirely for free. Now, these are people who are loaded with camos and flags and every other possible advantage they would need to try to do this. And let's just say even Directive 2 is costing them plenty of hours. I mean, we're talking only the second directive, which is still reasonably easy. And they've already committed equivalent would be like 2 full working days to do it. It's incredible the amount of grind that was required. But hey, I mean, I'll keep track of those people's progress as well. And then, if they succeed or fail, I will have some detailed reports for all of you, and I'll have another video for all of you then. And that was really all the things that I wanted to talk about, all the things that I was thinking about along the drive. And I thought, all right, I'm going to do this video, and then I'm going to go ahead and, do some other World of Warship stuff, and then eventually make my way back to Halifax and then continue making content. And then I woke up this morning. I should not have looked at anything this morning. So I woke up this morning and I went to the World of Warships Reddit and... Hold on a second. Why is there more things exploding? And then, of course, hey, World of Warships have decided, for some brilliant reason, in a future patch to basically move all the unique Tier 10 upgrades from the current mission means, let's say, to acquire them to Research Bureau. Oh, WG. Oh, wargaming. Why is it that you can't go a couple days without just go a couple days without things not happening? I don't know. Anything. And of course, wargaming. Just like we haven't even finished with this mess and new mess within a few days. Like, couldn't you guys just take a break? Like, not. Oh my god. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna go spend a couple days more with the family or something. Just wargaming. What have you become? What have you become? Like, I'm gonna seriously have to contemplate my involvement in this program and just you make it so hard. You make it so hard to go out and like promote your games and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna go spend some time with the family. Get back to Halifax in early January. Don't touch anything here for a while and come back fresh and decide how I want to progress. I think that's the best thing to do. So until then, folks, happy holidays. Merry Christmas for those of you who are doing the Christmas thing. Happy New Year. Hope you have a wonderful start to 2020 and hopefully the best 2020 ever. And I will see you all in early January. So until then, take care, be very safe, and I'll talk to all of you then.